Welcome to the Popcorn Wine Down with Tammy and Eddie. Grab your popcorn, pour yourself a glass of wine, and come hang out with us as we discuss the latest in movies, TV, and music.
Hello and happy holidays. Welcome to this very special episode of the Popcorn Wine Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And today we will be discussing HULU's The Happiest Season, starring Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Brown as a couple who are looking to spend their first holidays together. In this movie, we find out how a surprise proposal turns into a surprise outing. Tammy, this was your selection. What did you think of the movie?
Technically, we did have a conversation about doing this. We were gonna do a quick pop, right?
Yeah.
And then I did suggest us actually doing a bonus episode, but I liked it. I actually enjoyed it. Now, I enjoyed the secondary characters more than I enjoyed the primary characters or the main characters of the movie. I loved Riley and I loved John. Those were my people. Me and John can hang out. Who was Kristen Stewart's character's best friend in the movie.
Played by the great Dan Levy. Love him.
Oh my God. He was just absolutely awesome. Every conversation that he had with her, when he called her, he's like, hey, if I wanted to get the fish for myself, where would I go?
Never mind, I'll just Google it. And then when they first meet up and she's like, why are you on your phone? And he's like, because I spent the night with a hot dude and I left him in my apartment and I'm trying to make sure he leaves.
Wait. And then I have one of my favorite quotes that he says when he was just like, he was like, I track everybody. If the NSA can do it, so can I. And I was just like,
yeah, he was like, I'm like, how? And I'm thinking, how the hell in between the hot and heavy makeout sessions did you get a tracker on homeboy's phone? You're good. But he was like, yeah, I'm tracking him. And make sure he's like, okay, he's gone. We can continue. And she's like, he was amazing.
He was. He the best comedic relief moments, I would say, came from his character, who was awesome. He was awesome. So those moments is what allowed me to enjoy it. I watched it twice. And the second time I watched it, I actually enjoyed watching it the second time. And it was mainly because of him. He was just awesome. He was funny and cute. And yeah, I liked him.
So let's start at the beginning. So as I say, you have a couple, Kristen Stewart, Abby, and Mackenzie Davis Harper. Love the names. Love the character names. I love the name Harper. But anyway, so they are a couple and they are going home to visit Abby's family. And in the heat of the moment, Harper asked Abby to go home with her to visit her family. And
yeah, because she was partly drunk.
Right. And so euphoric on love and Christmas. Yes. And Abby is not, Christmas is not one of Abby's favorite holidays. So she was just trying to be a good girlfriend. And Abby thinks about it. She's like, yeah, I'll go. And she gets excited. And the euphoria is worn off the next morning. And Harper obviously does not want her to go. And I'm like, Abby, can you not read the room? And
yes, I'm like, that was such a morning after moment.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, okay, why doesn't she want her to go? And you can kind of tell it's obvious, okay, what's going to happen? And then she waits till they're a few miles from her parents' house, and she tells her, you remember last summer when I came out to my parents and told them all about us and they loved it and they were okay with it? And it's I would have gotten out I would have been like, bitch, if you don't turn this car around and take me to the closest,
I'd have been like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop you off and I'm gonna go about my business.
Thank you.
I'm not staying in your parents' home when they don't know we together. No, I'm not doing that.
And so it was that was red flag number one for me. Okay, it's you had up until you left to tell her that. You had at the breakfast to tell her. You had all this time to tell her, but you wait till she gets right before you get to your parents' house and tell her, hey, by the way, we're going back in the closet. And, well, you're going back in the closet. I never came out.
that is exactly it. And I think I'm like you. I would have been really, really pissed off, and I wouldn't have went. Like, I wouldn't have gone, because that was a slap in the face as well to the relationship that they have. I don't know if they ever stated how long they were together, but that's a slap in the face to your relationship. Like, because she should have told you so that she didn't put you in this, especially seeing how she knew how her family was.
Mm-hmm.
She knew, like, that it was going to be an absolute shit show because her family was ridiculous.
Well,
her sisters, her parents, everybody was like, I was like, what the? Y'all must live in a very small town.
They were, it didn't say how long they were been together. They'd been living together for about 6 months.
For 6 months.
But before that, we don't know how long they'd been a couple. So that to me was really, really a slap in the face, especially seeing as how, and I get it. I mean, I understand her being afraid, and especially the way it was explained throughout, but to kind of force her into that situation when, the morning after, you could have told her and let her make up her mind from there how she wanted to play it, if she still wanted to spend Christmas with you or not. Because as we know, Abby had planned to propose, and she thought, oh, it would be a great time to get to know your family, and she wanted to do a semi-traditional proposal. That was another hilarious part when John went off about the proposal.
When he was like, okay, so he called and married the most archaic institution known to man. And he was like, yes, if you want to go into that normativity and own her, yeah, definitely. Like, go ahead and propose. And I was cracking up. I was just like, he sounds a little bit like how I be when people talk about marriage to me.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. And so her family, now Harper's family, I love Victor Garber. I've loved him since Alias. That's when I really, but I loved her family. They were hilarious. They were dysfunctional as fuck, but they were funny. Her sister, it was dysfunctional, it was toxic, but it was funny. The most normal one in the family was actually the weirdest one. And when the mom says at the end, the only reason why she turned out so great is because we left her alone in preschool when she wouldn't stop pre-biting or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh. But
see, and I did not like her family. I thought they were a little cartoonish, and I'm sure there are definitely families like that. But I did think that they were a little cartoonish on certain things that happened. So you have the weirdest child, or the one that is your weird child, that you completely and totally ignore, but you're seen as a great father though. And a great mom.
Well, actually, I think because realistically, the kids knew. They all knew. They put up the front, because when she breaks down to Abby, she's like, we had to, they knew, her and her sister Sloan, they knew the love wasn't unconditional. What did they say? Sloan was like, the reason I didn't tell you I was getting a divorce or that we've been separated is because I know.
Because her family's her own thing.
Yeah, because I know I would mean nothing without my family to you. Like that's the thing. Like, you could see her parents, even though they had stopped their promising law careers, and they were building up this business which seemed to be taking off, especially if you can get Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop to support you. They were building this business, and their parents weren't proud. Her parents weren't proud of that, because it wasn't what the future that they had for her.
But then when I say, you're supposed to be this great daddy, you're supposed to be this great mom, I'm thinking more of what the parents thought of themselves. Like, they consider themselves to be really good parents, even though you clearly knew that you ignored your youngest daughter. and the only time you ever acknowledge, like when Harper shows up and he's just like, oh, my daughter is here, and then Jane is behind her, and she's like, hey dad, and he's like, hey, so the internet's acting up again, can you, didn't even give the girl a hi or nothing. And I was like, but you consider yourself to be good
their parents like that.
I mean, the daughters knew, but they consider themselves to be good
I know parents who are like that, who are so oblivious.
Oh, goodness gracious, God bless those children.
Parents who are so oblivious to their faults and their own flaws that everything that happens, trust me, I have relatives who are like that as parents, and they don't see their own faults. Everything is the child, or, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. The child turned out fucked up on their own. Like, okay, you didn't play a part in that. So there are people like that, but as far as
I know, it's just it still seemed a little cartoonish to me. Like, I understand, like, it's a movie and there are certain, like, cliche things that definitely have to happen, especially in a holiday movie. But there were some very cliche, cartoonish, like, moments, and I was just like, is that really true? Like, I mean, I know there's people out there, but come on, like,
yeah, they
that's ridiculous. Like, putting her downstairs in the room, not giving her a lock on the door, and then when she puts something against the door, you're asking her why she has something against the door, stopping you from just walking into the room rather than waiting for her to say you can come in. And then after that, when the mom brings in steps into the room with the kids, and then the dad just walks into the room, and I'm just like, really? Like,
yeah, there's some
this
people.
is what we're doing? Like, that's not your child. Like, that is a grown woman that you're just walking into her room.
But, you know, it's their house, and, like, some people don't. I mean, I'm not defending them. I get it, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, really? But on the flip side of that, I have known people like that. Like, you've been in that situation where it's like, really? Okay, this is what we're doing. So, you know, they just think of it as their house, and
you be getting out.
So,
like, you be asking me, like, there's something against the door, and I'm like, okay, can you wait? and you're gonna wait until I fully get dressed, like, and I'm not moving what I put against the door until I'm fully ready for you to come in. I don't care what you're trying to get from the room. Like, it just seemed like I was just like, what? You don't call them out on, like, just invading privacy? Like, even if it's your house, like, you allowed me to sleep in this room and you told me there was no lock. So of course I'm gonna make something that can keep people out until I want you to come in. Like, I'm a grown woman. But I understand there's people like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, it was one of those, from the reality, yes, I know people like that. Am I excusing it? No. Do I think, you know, in real life, is it funny? No, it's actually kind of annoying. But for the movie, her family provided good comic relief, and I think it helped. Weren't we talking about something like that the other day, where the comic, even I think it's one of the K-dramas you were talking about, where they used the comedy to deal with such a real situation. And I think the comedy, or the comedic relief that they used in this, helped lessen the blow of just how fucking toxic and dysfunctional that family really was.
And I'll take that, because I can agree with that. On, there were certain moments that you could tell were put in to kind of limit the blow of how crazy and toxic, like you said, certain moments and certain members of her family just were in general, and how toxic she ended up becoming as well, because she self-sabotaged.
Yeah.
The most annoying moment is the fact that she never truly acknowledged. I mean, yes, granted, she said sorry, but there was no true acknowledgement of how fucked up it was what she did to Riley in high school. Like, you went how many years and you never apologized to her before? Like, that moment?
Yeah, like,
on, like, the fact that you outed her and then you threw her under the bus?
Yeah, like, even I get that you were scared, and I get that I get what you did in high school. I get why you did it in high school. It was high school. We've all done fucked up things in high school. We all said fucked up things in high school. So I get that part. But I'm with you, especially once you came into your own and you moved out of that town and you fully, truly stepped into yourself and you were living your life. You know,
Yeah.
For the most part, you stopped living the lie, except for when you went home. You could have reached out to her and apologized. Because even if you regretted it, you never regretted it enough to say, hey, I'm sorry. This was truly fucked up of me, you know, because she understood why you did it. She really did. And it even seems like she forgave you. She was defending you. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I try to stay away from spoilers and articles and reviews before we, especially if I know we're going to review a show, because I want to go into it unbiased. But I saw a headline about this, and it was like the couple that really should have been together were Abby and Riley.
Right.
Yes, and I agreed. Yes. And I didn't pay much attention to it. I just kind of let it go, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I thought that they were like best friends in the movie or whatever. And like I said, because I stayed away from it. But then once I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. It makes sense.
They had chemistry.
Like, I really, 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 and I must say, this was one of Kristen Stewart's better acting jobs.
It was. But then I feel like kind of putting life in the movie a little bit.
Yeah. So
it works for her when she can just act natural.
We'll wait and see how she does this Princess Diana. But anyway.
Oh, fuck. Let's not talk about that. Moving on.
So, yeah, I was really team Abby and team Riley. I get it. But I really didn't care about her and Harper. I think even... I get that she loved Harper, but I was kind of hoping that they would truly break up. It was just, to me, it was a lot. It was too much, especially after, and I guess for me, what would have done it, okay, I love you enough to agree to this farce, and I'm trying to get through it with you, all right? So I know what I have to do for the weekend. I know that. But then you stay out till 2:00 in the morning after, like, oh, text me when you get home, blah, blah, blah. And then when I try to just ask if you're okay, you jump down my throat and tell me you need space. So you're practically breaking up with me. You won't defend me as a fucking thief to your family. Even if we're like roommates or supposed to be quote unquote just roommates and friends, it's like you let your family brand me as a thief.
Yep. You allowed them to disinvite me to the dinner.
And then, so after I tell you, John comes and I go outside, I'm like, this is just too much. And I thought about it. And it's like, okay, I get why you're not out. I get that. I'm not pressing you to come out to your family. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not applying any pressure to you. I'm not hinting at stuff that's not there. I'm not doing any of that.
But I can't do it.
But here's the thing. Then after I tell you I'm done, we go downstairs and we have this talk, and you tell me all this stuff, and it makes it a little bit more clear about what you're doing. And then so when you are outed by your psychotic sister, you still stand there and you lie to everyone's face.
No. It's not even I'm sorry, like, it's not even a lie. It's the fact of saying you denied.
Yes, you denied.
Denial of our existence.
To your whole...
In front of your family.
In front of your family. After you just pledged your love and you told me, and I understood a little bit more about why everything was the way it was. Why this family is so weird. Even though I saw it with my own eyes, you actually put words to it. So it's making me think, okay, I can get through the next 2 days. And then I'm like, nah. So when she said it was too much, like even when she showed up at the store, it still would have been too much. It would have been like, nah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Like, I felt like that was kind of like putting a bow on it, wrapping it up real pretty and putting a bow on it, and to solve it in like the last like couple, 15 minutes of the movie or whatever like that. And I agree with you. I think, first of all, I agree on the fact that Riley and Abby had way more chemistry than Abby and Harper. But when she denied being in a relationship, when you're outed, that is your moment. That is your moment where you can fully acknowledge who you are and tell the woman that you love that, okay, you know what? It's now or never now. But instead, she did what she did in high school to Riley. And she denied her while she was standing there. And I'm just like, oh no. Like, it's over. It's done. Like, you can't come back from that. Yeah. Absolutely not. Like, it would have been done. Like, we could end up being friends. But that relationship, at that moment, we're not magically getting back together in that moment. Like, it's going to take a lot of groveling when we go back home before we even think about talking about getting back together.
Yeah.
But not
and so moment. It was just, I did love John's, when they were talking about her parents when he was outside and they went for their walk and he just told her about the coming out story. He said, there's your story. Your parents were gracious and they were accepting from the beginning. And then there was me. My dad threw me out and didn't talk to me to 13 years. And then there's everything in between. And, and once you say that, and I can't imagine of having to do that, to like come out and, or how hard that is, or how, for people, even if you think you have the most loving parents in the world, that would still probably be a very scary. And so I appreciated him. Was like, look, everyone's story is different, but, and I don't even think that for her, it's like, okay, she realized more and more about what she was dealing with. And I think she understood more and more why Harper hadn't come out fully or hadn't come out. But I think it was, to her, it was the denial and just the way that she was treated. So more so than Harper not coming out or Harper wanting more time. Because like I said, she never pressed her on those issues. It was everything else that was too much.
Okay, wait. Side note, right? The children.
They were adorable little hellions.
So, no. The children.
I said they were cute. They were cute physically. They were attractive. They were adorable. But they were hellions who needed their ass beat because if.
And then you get presents after acknowledging the fact that you were a thief, and you got me arrested by mall
I'm just gonna say it. That's some white people shit. Forgive me. But I know straight up, my mom.
If that was us, we would be done. You ain't getting nothing for Christmas. Like, I wouldn't even be able to sit down.
My mama would have beat my ass. And you know what? And then here's how bad it would have been. After she beat my ass on December 26th, she would have taken everything back to the store with the receipt, made me watch as she got her money back.
And she would have you next to her so you can see her taking back all your gifts. Like, what? And they were like, can we open up our stockings now? No, bitch, you can't open up your stockings.
And then they would have been like, and so, ma'am, is there something wrong? No, my daughter is a thief and she doesn't deserve to have a Christmas. Like, straight up outed. Like, no pun intended, but, yeah, nah, dog.
I was done. I was done with that, with those moments. Like, I was just like, nah, bro.
Nah,
not at all.
That was
not
one of those two.
All. Like, when you asked me if I'm and that's what also pissed me off about, like, the family. Like, we talked about that. Harper didn't defend her at all, knowing that she didn't do anything. But she also never asked her what happened. There was no asking her what happened, because you saw from the beginning, like, she was trying to say that it was probably the kids. Like, she knew it was them from the beginning that put it in her bag. And Harper never asked her what happened. Nobody asked her.
And then I would have, but it was funny. It was funny because it was the show. It was funny because it was a movie. But if in real life, I would have been so pissed when mom was like, have you seen my brooch? It just kind of got walked up and walked away. And if this returned to my dresser by this evening, no questions asked, nothing. Bitch, Like, it was
Yo,
funny, but I would have.
First of all, the look alone on my face, you would have been done. Like, if looks could kill, you would have been done. Because you come in and, oh no. Because you're not going to label me as
like,
it absolutely not.
I was too through. And
like, I had to do that side note because that, oh my gosh, like, I really wanted to, like, take my imaginary belt off, hold them up by their neck, and just beat the crap out of them in front of their parents. Like, you will never steal again.
You giving them one of them
like my mama used to do.
You giving them one of
that old school, like, island beating. Like, they island beating.
No,
like,
there was like the butt whooping. There was, okay, you got in trouble and you're gonna get there was the talking to when that was bad enough. The stern talking to with the look. Then there was the butt whooping, when it was, okay, you've gone beyond the look and you need to get your butt beat. Then there was that down home, channeling the ancestors, ass whooping, where you got them by the neck. And at that point, it wasn't even a belt. It was whatever they could get their hands on. Thankfully, we didn't have trees, and my mama never made me go pull up the switch. But there was a belt. Ooh. There was one belt.
Oh my goodness! But
the ass whooping belt was not the belt I wanted.
Because if that was a black mama,
shit, nah.
They sure enough would not have gone away with that the way that they did. I'm gonna just put that out there. A black mama is what they need.
Christmas would be canceled until they were 20.
Woo! Goodness gracious! And then they would have brought that up every single year that you asked for something.
You stole that neck,
like that time you stole that necklace and put it into Abby's pocketbook.
Like, you wouldn't even, what do you want, a necklace? Oh, isn't that like that necklace you stole? Damn, can you let it go? I'm 6.
Every single year, every birthday, every holiday.
What you want for Christmas? Nothing. I'm good. Oh, why? Because you stole that Right.
That would have been it. Like, I just been like that was the one moment where I was just like, ooh, that's just ain't something that we do.
Well, that's that duality.
That's a diplomatic way of saying it.
I said it. I'm sorry. I said it. I love it, but we have to acknowledge that there are some differences, and that is one of them. And that was that was those two different worlds, That was some duality. Although, yeah.
Oh, okay. Ending on that funny note.
So overall, what would you have? I've heard that there might be talk about a sequel. Do you think there should be a sequel?
No, not if they're gonna keep them together. Like, I just don't think they're evenly matched. And maybe it's because we didn't see their actual relationship fully before they went to Harper's parents. But I would say no on.
I would say if we can have Abby and Riley together. I love how John. Now, one thing I did like at the end where you saw the pictures during the credits and you just kind of saw how the family came along. And I loved how the dad, it took him a moment, but when he had the opportunity to throw his daughter under the bus and keep up his perfect reputation, he did.
He did it.
But
yeah. And I love how John, can we talk about how, like, John is the only person who gave Jane a chance? Like, when she was telling him about the book and the whole world that she created, and he followed along where he could actually, like, respond. And he'd be like, yeah, because, this is it. She's like, yes, exactly. And then she would go on. He was sitting there actually listening to her tell him this whole world that she created. And nobody else had given her a chance. And then, of course, he took advantage of it because his career was in publishing. So
yeah, and so better, and that's what I was going to say. I think that's why they got along so well. And I love how he also became part of the family. Like, I loved him. He was amazing. Everyone needs a John in their life. Like, I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my
Yes.
John.
Can I have one,
like I am.
please? I beg you.
Although that kind of
Yes, I
sounds
want
like
my
a
John.
pimp
I want a John.
hooker type thing, but it is Christmas. Never mind. Ho 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 ho. Okay, we got sidetracked here. So
touche.
I would like a spin-off, I guess, if we could focus on John and Riley, or some maybe even Jane or something like that, but not necessarily Abby and Harper. Yeah.
Harper and Abby.
Okay.
Gotcha. But what would you rate it?
I enjoyed it. I liked it better than I thought I would. Kristen Stewart, like I said, it was probably one of her better acting jobs.
Naturally.
She didn't seem like she had to stick up her ass and had to think about every other word she said. I'm sorry. I do like Kristen Stewart, but she's not the greatest actress. I'm just going to keep it real. I am going to give it a solid. It's a cute Christmas movie, one of the first ones I've watched aside from my traditional ones. I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 popcorns. 3.5 out of 5. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. For me, I think just kind of going into, I love John, I loved Riley. I do think that Kristen Stewart, this was also one of her better roles. She was very natural in this movie. I loved her fashion. I thought it fit her perfectly. As an actress,
it's like how she would normally dress.
Her character, like I thought she was. Yes, and I love that because I love her normal fashion. When they try to pretty her up and everything, like not pretty her up, that's the wrong word. I'm sorry. When they try to like do girly on her, I don't think it necessarily works as well. But when they do a very like I'm a boss kind of look on her, she always looks great. So I definitely love that. But I would give it a 3.5. 3.5 popcorns. I did enjoy it. I really did. And I chalk it up to, like I said in the very beginning, the secondary characters definitely sold this movie for me. As well as I will take Abby over Harper any day.
Abby or Riley?
Yeah. No. Like I already got Riley and I already got John. Sure. But out of the main characters, I'll take Abby. I thought she did a good job on playing Abby.
Yeah, I thought she did too. And I really wish it would have been more about her, or focused on a relationship between her and Harper. I mean, her and Riley, like something, you go home and you fall in love with, like that would have been, just a messy holiday story. But note to self, write that down. Anyway, so that does it for this very special bonus edition of the Popcorn Wind Down. Please stay tuned. Season 2 will be coming to you soon in the new year. And until then, may you have wishing you a happy holiday season and a happy new year. Until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye. Hope you enjoyed this week's popcorn review. Don't forget to visit us at thepopcornwindown.com for your daily dose of pop culture.